My name is Chris Brandt, and snowmobiling is my passion. This wide-open podcast is here to share stories, tips, and tactics to make you a more successful backcountry rider. Hey, what's up, everybody? Guess what? We're going to do a podcast. I got a couple knuckleheads next to me. What's up, TJ? Dylan?
How's it going?
It's going good. TJ?
What's up?
Morning.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's, let's see, it's November 20th, 2024. We are full into sled builds and BBA madness. You guys are absolutely crushing builds everywhere. How many 900s have you built, TJ?
I ran out of fingers. I don't know.
900 boosts. Dylan, this will be kind of fun segue. We're going to talk about old iron. We've got that video premiering. When is it, Blake? Thursday. Yeah. So that's tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Iron videos premiering tomorrow, so we thought we'd do a fun podcast, giving you guys some insight, some of the things that we absolutely loved about last year's event. Already looking forward to this year. I'm going to kick all your guys' asses. I can't. You just. Anyway, that's another story. So we'll kick this off. So just so you guys know, Dylan on my right here. Dylan, you're from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Yep.
Dylan has been here for all of the Old Iron events, and just this is what's so awesome is now you're an employee at BBA. And you know, everyone asks, how can I get a job at BBA? It's like, you just gotta come here. And you got to, like, be you. And that's how TJ, he was a client first, showed up here with Drake. Mm-hmm. That was a good time. And, I mean, all of 90% of the people who have worked for BB-8 have come here as to see what our program's all about. And it's really easy to see the character when you get someone on a ledge changing bogey wheels with a man-made fire on TJ.
Make you miss your daughter's basketball game. It's like, I'm never getting a job out here now.
So anyway, we'll kind of talk. We could talk a little bit about that. But Dylan, you just showed me like you're a badass. You have a great attitude. You know your way around sleds, and we all knew that you would be a perfect fit here. So. Yeah. Welcome, bud.
Thank you.
It's awesome. So, okay, let's dive in, guys. So, 2023 Old Iron. It's an event that we look forward to each and every year. So, we'll run down the list kind of the entrants, what people brought, but I wanted to start with you guys. You know, TJ, you've brought a couple different sleds over the years. Tell me about what you brought this year, and even we can talk about your turbo. That was kind of a pile.
Yeah, it ran.
Yeah,
it was all right.
It ran. It was pretty fast on top, but man, that thing was scary on the trail. That track,
terrifying. Woo. Those big wide skis. Oh no!
All right, what'd you bring this year?
I brought the old trusty Yamaha, the Mountain Max.
Yeah, what year is that thing?
2000.
Yeah,
2001.
Gosh, that thing just runs like a top. Sounds good. It just doesn't go anywhere.
No, we got to do some modifications. Maybe a axis skid, something.
Mm-hmm. Track. Just
track.
Needs a track.
Yeah. But it does pretty good. It was not the 700 that you let me ride the last day. That made the Old Iron ride for me.
For you.
Yep.
So
awesome.
let's talk about that. And I think, you know, to be honest, look at the progression of what Old Iron has become. First year it was like, you know, bring whatever. We're just going to go have fun. You know, we had guys on like some sleds that, I mean, there were some very capable sleds, but like, to be honest, your Yamaha got around where we were going.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to this year, some of the shit we were climbing and doing, I'm like, dude, like 1 month ago, I could not get up this on my boost.
Yep.
Right. And we were climbing it, and we had some insanely good snow conditions, which was awesome. So TJ, talk about, so I let you ride. I felt sorry for you. You know, like I want you, I mean, we're always we want everybody high-fiving at the top, and the old Yammy
was not cutting
just didn't have it. And so one sled that we ended up spending a bunch of time trying to get ready, I went and grabbed. So this sled was a sled that I originally built way back in the day. It's a 2000 Holtz chassis with SLP 700. Or actually, it was Jack Struthers ported, SLP head, twin pipes. Super lightweight, fun sled. I had it stashed in a trailer at my dad's place forever, and I was like, man, I want to get that thing going and resurrect it. And so pulled that thing up here, and of course, I basically made Dylan work on it and get it running. Dylan, we had some issues with that thing.
Yep. We had some coolant issues.
Yeah. So
I missed out on all that too because I was late that morning.
Yeah.
And then I got here, and you're like, here's your sled.
Dude, your freaking prep crew was basically getting everything ready. We had it sat so long, we had a head O-ring basically fail, and it was pressurizing the coolant system, and it was just a mess. So, but Dylan jumps, like, this is when I'm like, I knew Dylan was going to, if he would accept it, I'm like, I need this guy to work for me. He was literally like, you know, arms deep in coolant and just, like, you were very, I'm like, not just screw it, just let TJ ride his old sled. And you're like, no, let's get this thing going.
I was determined to get it going.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're sick of TJ at the bottom. We need him up here with us.
Exactly.
Everybody felt bad for me.
So we'll jump into the riding part a little bit here in just a second. I want to go with Dylan. Dylan, you have brought some insanely cool snowmobiles the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you crammed 18 snowmobiles in that little trailer that you brought.
2 places with 6 sleds in there. Yeah. Yep.
But you come out 2 days early. You're on the hill testing. You this year you brought that super cool clear hooded 90. Mm-hmm. Is it a 98?
98.
Yeah,
yep.
98 700. Kind of replicated on that one that I had.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go for that, but it ended up that way. So
okay. Well, all right. So tell everyone the 2 sleds that were kind of your primary sleds that you brought this year.
So I brought 98 Orange Dream or Orange Crush is what I call it.
Uh-huh.
I don't really have a name for it, but bunch of SLP goodies and nothing too fancy on it. It's kind of a nothing crazy done to it, but it's clean. Went from ground up.
What track was on that one?
I have a 151 2-inch.
Ah, cool.
On it. Yep.
And you still couldn't make it up that.
Cheater.
No,
chute,
I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we got to do a little more work to it. But.
Yeah. What was that blue sled you brought?
And then I had the black hood.
Oh,
sled.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a Gen 2 chassis Van Amberg sled, which it needs some motor work.
So
the chassis wise is there, but motor isn't. So was supposed to be done this summer, but didn't happen yet. So
I would have to assume probably one of the biggest challenges you face when you come here is your sleds actually probably rip at home.
Yeah.
And then you come to our freaking god awful 11,800 feet and trying to make those things run.
Tough. Yeah, it's tough to get them to run right.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
I remember our year 1. Did you bring an open place trailer?
Yeah, because I didn't want to drag a trailer down, so I just threw a couple sleds on a little utility trailer. And
we went up and we were doing our testing the day before the old iron, and there was some people up there, and I know Dylan was one of them. I'm like, oh my God,
who's this guy?
What are we getting into with this stuff? He was unloading them off. He was pulling them off an open place trailer and like running up, pulling spark plugs, checking color, looking at spray, and I'm like, I'm way out of this. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's the first years I bought a sled. Well, I didn't want to come down with just one sled, and at that time that didn't have any others ready, and so I bought one like a couple weeks prior that just to bring for a spare. Yep.
Awesome.
Bought some pipes in Boise and on my way down.
And then you came down.
Yep.
You got all the cool stuff up in your area. I can never find a deal on. There's no cool stuff back in Iowa. It's all destroyed. It's been rolled through a cornfield or a fence line or something.
That's called the Midwest. Yeah.
Everything's just junk.
All right, and then you guys, when you see the video, you'll see I did rock my Hot to Go 1000 again, but it was not without controversy. If you guys, God,
It did run better this year.
It did run better on 3 cylinders, and when I put oil in it. You guys may remember the very first old iron, day 1 was awesome. I'm like, I can't believe all of our sleds lived. And, it's an absolute madhouse here in the shop. And so in the hustle bustle of trying to get ready, I ended up putting just straight 91 in it and no mixed gas. And I made it about a mile and a half from the parking lot, and I could feel the sled getting tight, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And it sure is crap locked up. And so
At least it's easy to get parts for
those
old motors.
So it was super easy. And at least I took my time, and it took all summer to get it.
Wait, you did get it tore apart for us.
I tore it all apart, and I basically told Kyle tore it apart. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll send cylinders out. I'll source some pistons. I'll do, of course I wait until like literally a week and a half prior, and then come to find out it wasn't just a piston and cylinder. The crank was bad. So then I'm overnighting cranks off of eBay and like working till midnight and not knowing and trying to remember how to like put those types of motors back together, which I really enjoyed. That was actually kind of fun. So got my sled all back together, brand new pistons, and the sled actually worked really good. And it had a 144 2-inch on it, and I put a 155 2.6 on it, which I'll be honest, my sled was really damn
Pretty
good.
awesome.
Yeah, it is really good. I still got to figure out the motor. It's like it runs really good on the bottom, but it just doesn't pull on top. I got something going on there. I'm just not smart enough to know about that. So
I think nitrous fixes that.
Nitrous, yeah, or really just my sled I'm gonna have this year. I'll just buy another one.
Okay.
Yeah,
that works too.
So okay, so guys, we're gonna do just real quick. I'm gonna just take a quick second, and we do this on the old iron video. But I'm going to run down just so you guys can kind of get a feel of what we're talking about here. A couple of questions I kind of had in my head that I wanted to pose to these guys for you is, what was your favorite sled out of everybody's? That is one of the coolest parts, is just seeing what people are dragging out of the weeds and out of their shops and trailers to bring down here. That's really fun. Mm-hmm. As we've talked about a ton, the sleds are awesome, but even better are the people. You cannot get a better group of dudes together. No. And Dylan, you get to hang out with them at the lodge. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine. I mean, I know all the stories that go on here in the shop, but having all that camaraderie at the, like greasy fingers, smell like gas, sitting at the table until midnight talking about old iron, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. Yep.
Yeah, pretty cool. So I'm just going to run down the list real quick. We had Gary Olson. He's been here both years, and his buddy Jim. Gary owns a dealership up in Oregon. And Gary, and again, we'll go through the list, but in my opinion, Gary has gone hog wild.
Yep.
And it's so awesome. I mean, he literally texted me this summer and just said, I can't thank you enough for doing the old iron stuff. It's really reinvigorated me. And Gary is one of the most passionate snowmobilers I know, but he just has taken the old iron thing, and I think he's got more sleds than all of us now.
Yeah. He's got some stuff up his sleeve for this next year.
He does. His sled. Oh man.
He keeps posting teaser pictures on Facebook, and I'm like,
yep.
This isn't even fair.
Yeah.
It's gonna be lighter than our Matrix sleds and more power, and
yeah,
it's crazy.
So Gary brought again 2 insanely cool sleds. Holtz chassis. I think they call them single pin, lower single pin arm. Or something like that.
I'm not sure the exact terminology.
super rare stuff with a Carl's 910 with nitrous. And Jim, he had an 800 vertical escape that ran really good on year 1. Ended up putting a 910 in it for year 2. I mean, these guys are just awesome. Next on the list, we had Jason Armstrong. You guys have seen all the pictures. I think the crowd favorite via social is Jason's Storm. Mm-hmm. That 93 Storm color scheme and all the work Jason's done to it has been it's a beautiful snowmobile. He did even more to it this year. I think he did a big bore for this upcoming season.
Okay.
And then so talking in the shop here, he shows me a picture of an IQR with a 1200 freaking watercraft motor. I'm like, where is this sled? He's like, oh, it's at home. I thought it was too new. I'm like, if you don't bring that this next year, we're not friends. And so he's going to bring that this year. He's bringing his daughter. His daughter's going to be ripping an old iron sled. So, oh, man, just awesome. So Jason, another killer client. He had a 99 700 that, it was a Union Bay 900. It didn't run super great.
Yeah, I think it had some clutching or jetting issues.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good clip of that one in the video that's going to release tomorrow.
TJ,
so look out
thank
for
you.
that sled
Note to
tomorrow.
self, you might want to pay attention to
the blue sled.
To the blue sled. It may or may not have just rolled completely down the hill. Dylan, we got your shots. We talked about that. Jonah, friend of Blake's actually. Jonah came out, he was on a newer sled. It was an IQR with 800 in it, I think, which everyone's like, oh, that's a cheater sled. It's like, we don't really care, right? I mean, bring a cool old sled, and we're just out there having fun. And it was pretty fun watching Jonah make it up the chute. And you'll see in the clip, he was so pumped when he got to the top. He literally blew by the road into the face of the next, upside down into a tree, and just fist pumping the entire time.
He rode the crap out of that sled too. He was doing like hopovers, and it was he rode it really good.
Yeah,
it ran good,
really good. Next we had this was I have a special place in my heart for guys like this. So Dustin and Dane Miller, they're from Utah, father son, right? Like, I mean, the father son deal. That's what I think about when I was young. Is me and my dad getting to go ride, just like you and your dad, and so both Dustin and Dane came, and they had some beautiful sleds. Dustin had so these were 1999 models. Dustin's had a turbo
Aerocharger,
an Aerocharger, which poor thing could not go downhill to save his life. It was just so blubbery, blah 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 blah. But he was the only one on day 2 to get up with me and Blake at the top of that big amphitheater bowl. Yeah. Yep. He was the only one to make it. I was high-fiving myself for a long time, and then here comes old Dustin screaming up there on the turbo. So that was cool. Dane, young kid, which was really cool because one thing that I think I'll speak for all of us here, and you guys can to attest to this. What's cool is and you're young, you don't even know, but when we were originally riding these, it wasn't wrong foot forward and all these things, right? It was knee on the seat, the tuck, and just doing these freaking high marks. Well, so Dane, younger kid, he's out there trying to do re-entries, riding wrong foot forward, riding like how we ride now. So really cool to see another younger kid, like probably your age, to be honest, TJ. But you guys don't know any difference. That's how you ride, and you're young too. So I had to learn all of this, right? And you guys this is just what you know. So that was pretty cool. They had 2 beautiful sleds. You'll see that in the video. Ben he's from Utah as well, I think. No. Yeah, Ben. Awesome. Had a 99 700 twin pipes, price performance motor, and of course Ben shows up playing the role like old Climb Flame jersey.
He dyed his hair. He was a client. And he rode with us, and then he came back, and we didn't even recognize him.
Well, so he comes rolling in the shop. I'm like, hey, it's Chris. He's like, Ben, I was here like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what did you do to your hair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played the part.
He was blonde hair. We thought that was just him, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I just did it for the old iron." And
Ben, I never saw him without the biggest damn smile on his face. He had a blast. It was funny. We put him in some pretty uncomfortable places. He's like, dude, I wouldn't do this on my new sled. I'm like, well, this is where we're going. And so he was a trooper and just, endured all of our torture. My personality favorite, Taylor from Canada, shows up on the Arctic Cat.
The one and only.
The one and only T-Cat, freaking cut off jean top and
Looked like a
freaking
lumberjack. I mean,
oh yeah.
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 Big dude.
If I remember right, he was even wearing shorts in the parking lot, I think, with maybe some cowboy boots or
Jean
something.
shorts
Yeah.
cut off with the cut off
Yeah.
flannel button-up shirt. Yeah.
And the thing is like I thought he was just like playing a personality. No, I really think that's who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's him.
Oh, yeah.
And day 2 is kind of crappy weather out and kind of cold, and he is still rocking the cutoff and everything. I'm like, dude, aren't you freezing? He's like, this is warm compared to back home. And but I mean, like literally drove. Dude, he lives in like.
Is he way up north?
Way north. I mean, way north. And just literally made the drive all the way down here. The dedication and just how much fun he had. And I think he's bringing a buddy again this year, Logger too. And it's so funny. He shows up on, there's some guys that have these beautiful sleds. Taylor's sled fit his personality. It's like, it was a little rough around the edges, but fired up every time. And you knew when he was coming up the hill.
Oh, my goodness. Did he have earplugs in? Had to have.
Doubt it. Doubt it. So, Taylor, you're awesome. Can't wait for you to come back. And then, of course, we had Kyle. Kyle rolled in, and he, typical Kyle style, buys a sled on his way here, on the way out. He had himself a little weapon from a motor standpoint. His was the fastest sled, no question. But chassis-wise, track-wise, it was lacking. So
Pretty impressive what the motor would make up for, though.
I know.
Like, I don't know if it's just track speed or what, but the sled actually got around really good, and he did some pretty cool stuff on it.
I quit calling Kyle because every time I would call him, and I would say something, he'd say, "What?" And I'd have to repeat it again because Kyle had literally the loudest snowmobile known to man. And I'm like, dude, wear earplugs, please. He's like, I'm good. And God, like loading it in the trailer, seriously, I'm like, I'm trying to plug my ears with like my knee and my shoulder and I'm like, dude, that thing was.
Yeah, I might bring some earmuffs for everyone next year. We'll just hand them out. So
BBA earmuffs. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
It was a fight here in the morning who was going to get the earmuffs.
Yeah, the one
and
pair.
Like take them in the trailer with them and wear them, unload them. Because in the enclosed trailers and those old sleds,
they got to cackle.
It's so bad.
They got to cackle. And then Blaine with. It's a toss up for me on most beautiful sleds, but Blaine with the CMX.
CMX, yep.
Yeah.
It's a
Dude,
pretty awesome sled.
Such an iconic sled. As a kid, for me, that was the holy grail, right? That was not just like where you open the SLP catalog, buy some pipes and a head, and you put it on your stock sled. The CMX was like what we do today, right? We do full builds and lightweight everything, and so Blaine spent more time tinkering and jacking around with that thing, but it ran. He just kept,
Don't know if we have a whole bunch of footage of Blaine.
We don't. Although his GoPro footage, again, you guys got to watch the video. It's so funny. So anyway, had a blast with Blaine. He finally got that thing running. It was cool to see him come up the shortcut chute. That sled was flying up there.
It came right up.
Yeah. So, okay, that was 23 minutes of kind of setting you guys up with, kind of the basis of our old iron ride. So now I'm going to pose some questions to you guys. So let's talk about, we kind of did a rundown of the sleds, gave the viewers just an idea. And again, you'll see we do a full breakdown video of letting the clients actually talk about what they did to the sled. We'll be releasing that here soon. The actual video we're releasing on Thursday is the action video, which, damn, it turned out good. Good job, Blake. So I want to pose this question to you guys first, and everybody will have their own opinion. TJ, what was your favorite sled out of everybody's at the event?
I got to go with Blaine's.
Blaine's.
It's beautiful sled. Everything is, like you explained it right, it's like custom. Everything, it's pretty much what we do here now. But it sucks that he didn't get to really experience the full old iron ride. They're rare parts.
Yeah.
Can't get them. You can't get pistons for his motor anymore. He was super worried about getting it dialed in for this elevation and making sure something wasn't gonna happen.
It really affected his ride, to be honest.
Yeah, it did. He didn't get the full experience. So I think he got it dialed in now, and I'm hoping for this next year that he'll be able to just kind of cut loose and let
fun.
that thing rip. But that was my favorite. Close runner up is Gary Olson's. His sleds are awesome. He comes out with he rolls in this giant bottle of nitrous.
Dude, it wasn't like a filler. It was
a full welding tank
of nitrous.
Yeah.
And he's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
For just everything. I think that's probably the coolest thing of the old iron ride, because I didn't really grow up in that era. I'm not super familiar with all the old iron stuff, and just all the knowledge that these guys bring out is really cool to listen to. And I got to get my notepad out and take all these notes so I can learn all this stuff. But Gary's sleds are top notch, clean. So.
Yeah, awesome. Dylan?
I like Blaine's. I think Blaine's was probably my top pick as far as sled standpoint goes. Like we said, we didn't get to see it run a whole lot, but it's a pretty awesome sled, and not many of them out there. So
the potential is definitely there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's a tough pick for second pick. The Ultra. Kyle's Ultra was an awesome sled. I mean, for a little track work on that thing, it'd be awesome.
Really impressive, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was super impressed with that sled.
He pulls out drag sheets when he gets here of the times it was putting down.
Yeah. It still had cardboard or tape on the ski loop from drag racing.
It's a drag race sled.
It was 100% a drag from.
Yep.
I think he got it from Gage Peterson, and Gage is like, he's one of the most knowledgeable dudes when it comes to these types of sleds, and he got it from Gage, and it was damn ready to go. But I think Kyle had to run down to Denver to get the special race gas to run it, and then he runs out, of course. But so those are your two. Gosh dang, this is tough. My number one is, I gotta say Gary's, because did you get to ride it?
I don't think I rode it this year. Did he bring the same one last year?
I think so, with an 800, not a 910.
I don't think I got to ride it this year.
Okay.
No.
So I gotta say Gary's, because I love lightweight sleds. You guys know that. And I am not kidding you. It feels like one of the sleds that we spend 2 weeks building, doing all tie, everything. I got on that sled, and the motor calibration wasn't exactly perfect, and Gary spent quite a bit more time this year. The 910 ran better this year, but I could not believe how easy it was to ride and how it got up on top of the snow. And it was just like, I'm like, dude, this thing is incredible. So from a riding standpoint, I really liked that. My second, just from like the classic sled that Blaine's is up there too, but I'm going to go a different route, was Dustin's Turbo.
Yeah, that was kind of on my list too, but
it was, I mean, it had like, chrome trailing arms, an all black hood, murdered out. He opens up the motor compartment. It's so clean and simple. And I looked at that thing. I'm like, I really want to ride that. And so those were my two. And again, everyone brought some cool stuff to the table this year. Already excited for next year. But.
Yeah, you get that many sleds, it's hard to choose.
Yeah.
They're all cool in their own ways. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. My next topic that I have for us was, we got to go ride seriously our favorite zones,
Yep.
right? Our snow was incredible last year. We had awesome snow for Old Iron. I was actually a little worried that it was going to be too deep, that we couldn't do anything. And intakes were going to get plugged and all this stuff, right? But it was perfect. So I want to ask you guys, Dylan, this will be a little easier for TJ and myself, but so TJ, what was your favorite spot that we got to do the shortcut, like literally the shortcut we save for like that? I mean, we're able to do it once or twice a year because we don't get resets or whatever, and it's kind of lower in our elevation. We got to go up into the amphitheater. We got to go to up Ptarmigan to the left, where Jason had his little incident. We got to go to all of our favorite places. Out of all of them, what was your favorite zone, and kind of tell us why?
The chute. I want to say the chute just because you don't have to take the chute. There is a trail that you can come up. So anybody that didn't want to take the chute brought the trail up,
Pussies.
parked at the top.
Go ahead.
Parked at the top of the trail, and then got to watch everybody come up. And it was a disaster. People are rolling down.
Oh, dude, I forgot
chasing
someone.
Sleds.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I forgot Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor.
Oh, okay. So Taylor, sorry, I just didn't have you on the list because you're a guide, and I almost forgot Kyle too. But so Taylor, he had, God, his story was even worse than mine. Talking about rebuilding motors on the last second, he bought this freak of a sled. I'm not even going to talk about it because I know he's going to get it running for this year. But Taylor ended up having to go to his backup sled, which is another pile of junk Yamaha. It actually ran this year though, but you'll see in the video. I'll let you finish, TJ, because when you say it was an absolute junk show, Taylor was president of the junk show on the first shoot. You were close second.
I was probably second place.
I don't want to
give
too much information because I don't want to spoil the video, but everybody will know what we're talking about when they watch the video. And it was just, upside down old sleds rolling down hills, and people at the top, like you barely inch over the top, and we're grabbing skis and trying to save them so they don't roll down. But that's an awesome spot. I'd say that's my second. My top is up to the top of there and left.
Yeah,
and that's just amazing
where Jason. Yeah.
Just that whole zone when you come out of the trees and you have that first big climb, and then it just all opens up and it's beautiful, and it's just so many. That's old iron country back there.
It sure is.
Big open stuff, big hills. That was an awesome day. So that's my top zone.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories. So I have a ton of thoughts from that, and we focused a lot on the video on that first shoot zone because it was just like that was day one, literally. That was
5 minutes.
It was 5 minutes into our ride. Like, it's let's go make sure the sleds run up in the bowl. It was literally and this was the best part. There's so many best parts, actually. So Kyle forgets. What did he forget?
Yeah. Was it Abby bag?
He forgot something at the trailer. And, oh, my God, dude, it is so funny. We're like 3 minutes from the truck, okay? Kyle hauls butt back down to the truck, and his story went like this. He's like, I could hear you guys at the chute, and I could not run fast enough to get all my stuff and get back up there because I knew what you guys were doing, and I was so pissed at myself for forgetting because, we literally okay, this is what we're going to do. First, Blake, get up to the top. We're going to try to come up to you. But one of the other things that was really cool about that is your first line. So my first line, I actually went right. I went right, and I kind of sneaked up there somehow. Well, you went right, and I'm up at the top, and you turned left, and I'm like, what is he doing? He's like, you're good. You're on full wrong foot forward, hauling butt through all this junk, and like you're on a new sled. And I'm like, TJ, that's never gonna work. I'm like, dude, it's gonna paddle out. You're gonna wash out, and it
did.
It did.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to watch you come ripping through there and full committed, eyes up, and I'm like, this is not gonna work.
And this is 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes I've had on your sled.
You've ever ridden the sled.
So back of my head, don't wreck Chris's sled he's had the longest in his life. That's all custom built. But we gave it our all.
Oh, yeah.
I did get to the top. I had to go down.
You did, yeah.
We made her up to the top.
Dylan, okay, I'm going to have you just talk about your shoot experience, and then we'll have you talk about your favorite zones.
Yeah, that was interesting, and I was still bound and determined to get up that thing, but just couldn't do it. So
You literally made it 8 inches from the top
I did.
twice.
Yeah, I know. I was either probably operator error there, but there's a pretty good clip of tumbling down, I think. So
Yeah, dude.
it got worse and worse every time.
And then TJ's playing hill help there.
Yep.
And I'm sitting. This is in the video, so again, as you guys can tell, we're trying to get you to watch the video because it's pretty damn good. But like, I'm at the top, and I'm like, no, and Dylan's just like,
I thought it was stopped, and so I wasn't really worried.
But then it kept rolling. I'm like, run! And then here comes TJ running across the hill to. I'm like, TJ, don't do that. Like,
That's gonna. I don't weigh a lot.
I'm like, what do you think you're gonna do?
yeah, and that chute kept getting worse and worse every time someone tried it. There's logs and rocks poking out, and it was. I should have stopped after about the second time, but
Again,
determination.
It was another like check mark on your job application where I'm like, I still like this guy.
As that day when we went down, everyone was already probably ahead of me, and I was going to get my broken window, and I was like, I'm going to just go up this right now by myself when no one's watching, and I'll go right to the top. But I thought
a little better.
Better not.
It's crazy what our old iron ride has evolved from. Year one, like we go into the bowl and we're kind of doing some little jumps and stuff.
Whoop-de-doos and drag racing.
And then it's like, let's go try this little zone. And we got into some like deep snow, steep stuff, and everybody was going up it, and we're like, wait, we can actually go up stuff with these sleds?
That's the coolest.
And then from there, it's just been, we step it up.
Dude, we're going to St. Elmo climb shoot this next year.
Yeah.
100%. You've been there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about old iron, though. I think they're capable. They're still super capable machines, and a lot of people think that they can't do certain things, but
we do it in the right time of the year.
They do.
Well,
timing and snow has a lot to affect in it. So,
but to Dylan's point, isn't it awesome? Like, so right now, and this is why and how the industry has progressed from back then, 90s, right, to now, is back then the limiting factor was definitely the snowmobile, right? And now the limiting factor is 100% the rider.
Yeah.
And so that's what's insane is like we can go now it's all back in the rider's hands of being able to try to get these sleds to do things that, back then we weren't looking at lines like this.
Yeah. I was going to ask, I didn't ride the old sleds back then. So was the areas that we're riding now, is that what you guys would go try to do back in the day? Or it was nothing like that?
You would never look at the trees. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, the trees weren't.
I don't even, this mountain bar, I mean, left-hand throttles, mountain bar, holding on for dear life. That's when you wrecked stuff. So you just went to the big open and did the old rainbow high marking. So, okay, Dylan, favorite couple zones here.
My favorite one, I don't know how to explain it, but it's the bowl that we go to off to the right, I think, of the drainage. We go up. It's kind of pretty tight trees, and you get up there, and you got to sidle to the right, and then go up again. And I think you know where I'm talking.
Yep. That was the one TJ was explaining. Yep.
Is that the same spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get through the trees, it opens up to that big rock field, go up, and then to the right, that one?
Yeah.
Or are you talking Polaris Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh.
Polaris Bowl.
Yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
We call it Polaris Bowl.
Yeah, Polaris Bowl to the right. Kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
You go up, and then there's a drainage at the bottom.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're to the right of it. That was kind of one of my favorite zones, but it's
That's
coming back.
technical on getting clients up
well,
there.
that's the thing, and that's not really an old iron spot, but we did it.
Yeah,
so.
right across from there was where I blew my sled up in year one.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I would guess, well, I'll let you say. What was your next favorite zone?
Probably up there where Jason had his little incident. Yep. That was a cool spot.
Really cool.
Getting up there,
Yeah.
TJ pulled a couple cool line up through there.
I'm not, what'd he say? I'm not stuck. I ran out of places to go. We roll up there. I'm like, you're really stuck, pal.
Yeah.
I was downhill.
Ran out of options, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys kind of mentioned it. You guys will see it in the video. My number one was in typical Brant fashion, 3 minutes up the trail on day one with everybody still cold. I'm like, all right, we're going up the gnarliest thing we have here. Let's go. Yeah. And I just, we're all so excited. There's so much anticipation. What are the sleds going to do? It was the first time I had rode my sled literally with the new motor and new track. And here I am like staring at a chute. I'm like, God dang, I hope this thing doesn't blow up. I don't seize it.
That's a good way to set the ring.
Is the is the track going to work? So like, I don't know. And watching Taylor, he is, God dang, dude. I love that guy. He's so freaking competitive. And I mean, he has zero regard for body or sled.
Very committed
to make it. And that sled, I don't know how, I mean, he is like a man. Like he is just a giant dude, 6'4", 2 something, like he's just a big dude who can ride a sled like that. But to watch him wheeling out of control into those trees to the right, I'm like, where are you going? And just getting yard sailed. And then, the sled literally, like, it would kill me and TJ if that sled rolled on us. And, he just, like, stands up with it on his back and, yeah, okay. God, Taylor was just like,
good way to put it.
He was awesome. He was full committed. And, he had this one line where he had to switch over to the right side of the sled. And we all know these running boards are so disastrously slippery. And he does the full slip off the running board, belly dragging across this chute that we're talking about. It's like, dude, oh my God, it's so funny. And yeah, my second zone is the one that we're all talking about and you'll see it in the video, we crest out of the trees, open rock field, you go up. It's where Kyle thought he was going to get the high mark on year one, and he's like waving the blown belt at me, and I'm just giving him the finger going right by him, because I didn't make it the first time. I go out there, and he's like, and he probably track poached me, of course, but he makes it up, and I was so pissed. I'm like, gosh dang, he's gonna get me. And then when I made it the second time, and then I see him stuck on the hill with that broken belt, I had the biggest smile on my face. Oh gosh, that was awesome. That was definitely my favorite as well, is kind of those two zones. Those were kind of the big ones. I mean, we have, the riders, the personalities, the sleds, the zones. I think that covers a lot of it. What are you guys, already, I'm excited for, it's November and we haven't even had our main season yet here, but I'm already excited and thinking about next year. What do you have any goals, plans? You're just gonna ride my sled again?
Well, that'd be the best. I've seen you did some pretty tasteful mods to it.
I did. I had a 155 2.4 inch track laying around, so I did do that to that sled because it needed a track. It had a 144 on it on that white Polaris, and so I put a track on it. Quick side note on that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this done this summer, right? I kind of wait until the end of summer, but I get it done. I thought that 2.4 inch track was a 2.52 pitch, and so I ordered drivers from Avid. And the track changes on an axis. A matrix. We can do it in about 27 minutes. Seriously, like we can do a track change, and it's so easy. And it is not like that on these old sleds.
Pull the chain case.
I had to pull the chain case. Oil, yeah, exactly. And so I get it all back together. I'm taking pictures, I go out here and I start it, and it's on the stand, and I run the track, and it's all vibrating the entire sled. I'm like, what is going on here? And I oh God, I bet that's a 286 pitch. I put the wrong damn drivers on. So I ordered. So if anyone needs some 252 drivers for a 1 inch square shaft, I've got some for you. So I ended up having to tear it all apart and put it back together. But yeah, that sled will be pretty cool this year, I think. So anyway, back to what are you excited and your plans for this year's Old Iron?
I had big plans this summer. That did not get touched at all. I had an Axis sitting around. I was like, maybe I'll throw that motor in a wedge chassis. I did play around a little bit with axis skid and an old chassis, but that was like,
Which they bolted right up, you
it
told
did,
me.
yeah. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Uh-huh.
But, I had big plans this summer, and about 2 weeks before I came out here, I started playing around with stuff a little bit, and I'll end up waiting until about a week before the ride to
Pretty
build
standard.
something or try to buy something. I don't know yet.
Yeah. So
If anybody's got any super cool old sleds, definitely reach out to us. We're looking for something. We'll give you a pretty cool shout out in the next year's video.
I think we got to go to St. Elmo this year for a day.
Mm-hmm. We haven't been up there with Old Iron.
I know. It's time.
Yep.
We got some pretty big stuff up there we
Yeah.
can go do.
How many are going to make it over Hancock in the back? Might have to. We're going to have Blake bring a tow rope and.
We'll have a rig on the
Oh yeah, over in
on the
Pitkin?
on the bottom just
That
in
works.
case. Dylan, it had, I don't know how you have slept every night since Old Iron, like being 6 inches from the top on that first one. I mean, that's just my mentality.
Yeah.
So, what do you got scheming? You've told me, and you don't have to tell me everything. We like the element of surprise.
Yeah, I got a couple surprises this year. Once again, like TJ said, I had some high hopes and dreams this summer to get a sled put together and finished before the year started, but that didn't happen. So we'll be working on it. I got everything needed to put it all back together, but I think it's going to be a pretty sweet sled. I think this sled that I'm putting together for this year will make it to the top of that chute.
Cool.
If it runs right.
If it runs right. All right, I'm going to give you guys just a sneak peek because I have been searching for one particular snowmobile for about 5 years, and the sled started off in the U.S. It ended up making its way to Canada, and the most recent owner got the sled and basically said there's no way in hell I'll ever sell the sled. It will die with me. And so I just kind of gave up on it. And then him and I kind of started talking over the summer, and we have struck a deal. And it's the holy grail of snowmobiles, in my opinion. I'm excited. I'm not going to release any details about it until it's actually here, because there's still quite a few steps that need to happen to get it from Canada to here. But if it all happens and it all goes through, you guys are effed.
Oh boy.
Have you told us about this?
I think I told Dylan, but I didn't tell you.
Holding out on
I'm
me?
going to hold out
Okay.
on you for sure. So, but I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. As you can tell with the big smiles on our face and the excitement, it's something that we look forward to every year. It's consumed a lot of time.
Yep.
It has consumed a lot of space in my shop. I've got this like beautiful sled over here that I'm hoping I can get ready. I will have many backups this year, but I'm not going to need it with what I'm hoping is coming.
So I have lots of backups.
You have lots of backups.
Who gets to ride Old Blue then?
I know. Old Blue I'm going to just tow it around with me in case I need it.
Yeah.
Because, we didn't really talk about it, but that sled from a chassis standpoint is cheater. It's really damn good. If I could get that motor to run to where it should, that thing would be unstoppable. So, but anyway, if I had more time, we could get on the snow and do some testing. But we would, as you guys have heard us hinting to, make sure you check out the video on YouTube of our what year was it? 2024. Thank you. 2024 Old Iron Ride. It's a blast. Blake put a lot of effort into it. The soundtrack's sweet, and the action is first class. So, all right. Well, we knocked out another podcast. Let's all pray for snow. Looks like it's off to a pretty good start. We've been riding here in Colorado, Canada. It's like mid-season conditions already. We're going to get back to work here in the shop. And until then, let it snow, everybody.